Hi there, I'm Carolyn, trichologist, hair specialist and scalp specialist here at Absolique Hair Health Clinic. We've been talking about the art of absorption. We've had quite a few videos in this series. We're continuing on, and today we're going to talk about what we call is the nutrient robbers. So a lot of the stuff that we do with the art of absorption comes off learning about how to balance your pH. One, test your pH, and then learn about the acid-alkali balance and food combining. So even if you're doing all of that and you're not combining what we call your animal proteins, which are your amino acids, with your carbohydrates, which are generally your high GI kind of foods, and then we talked about fruit, not combining fruit with any other food or any other fruit. There's another category that comes on top of even don't combine acid with acid. It's going to be acid with alkali. Okay, there's some things that come in that for every single human being, they are nutrient robbers. Now, this doesn't matter if you don't have a health problem or a hair concern, but when I'm helping people with autoimmune hair and scalp conditions, hair loss, and hair thinning, it is super important that we look at the food and make sure, one, we aren't robbing nutrients, two, we're not actually eating things that are causing inflammation, because a lot of these things are both robbers and cause inflammation in our body. Okay, so the biggies are gluten. We all know about gluten. It causes the same problem in every human being. It's just our symptomatic response is very different. But I know if you combine gluten with your beautiful meal of your clean proteins and your organic veg, you have that gluten in there, you have lost everything and you're causing inflammation. So get the gluten out of the meal. Grains can fall into that category as well. I might dive further into grains because a lot of them do have gluten because they come from a seed. If we've got super autoimmune problems, we strip the grains out as well. And a lot of the grains, in essence, are also the carbohydrate, so they don't work well with food combining. The other big baddie here is dairy. And again, even if you're not having an allergic response or sensitivity to it, our guts cannot break it down. It's the lactose and the casein. So when we're looking at the art of absorption, if you're putting the dairy in the food, so you're adding your milk to your beautiful breakfast, or we're adding the cheese onto the lovely meal, a lot of the time we're actually cancelling out all of the other nutrients that are in there. So we can have a little bit of dairy if you're not sensitive to it, but we have to take it away from other foods. Most of the time, if you're working with me, in the first 4 months we would eliminate the dairy and replace it with good wholesome food. The next one is sugar, and we're not just talking about our natural sugars, but more so the man-made sugars. And generally it's in all your processed foods, your packaged foods, and stuff that has your gluten and your dairy in it anyway, and you should be avoiding it. So some people come to me and say, but I'm eating so well, everything is so good, but I'm having that chocolate bar every night. So the chocolate bar generally has gluten, dairy and sugar, and you feel like you're not really doing the wrong thing, while you're actually cancelling out just about everything you've done good in the day. So the biggest nutrient robbers to avoid is the gluten, sometimes the grains, the dairies and the sugars. If you're combining those in with your good nutritious meals, you're actually just getting calories, you're not going to get the nutrients. So this is a super important one to avoid. And again, a lot of those things that come from GMO crops and contaminated, the dairy industry is not what it used to be. We're not getting the nutrients like the calcium you think you are. We're looking more for vitamin D, but if you're eating those beautiful organic eggs and then you're topping it with cheese, well, we've just lost it. So your omelette is now cancelled out. So this comes from the art of absorption that we've put together for you. There's lots of different subjects and it can be confusing, but it all helps when we say one meal at a time and start to test your pH. Learning about the art of absorption is super important. So you can email me for a free copy of the art of absorption. It's info@absolique.com.au, but I'm also here to answer any questions you have about hair loss, hair thinning, scalp conditions, and in particular autoimmune. Thanks.